Okay, but can I have a lemon here?
Okay, you can. Okay, sure. So maybe you can move back after.
No, I just sit here. You can sit up there.
You have to just sit it down. This kid starts at Marge will be here in 2 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See you guys later. But let us begin with offering our obeisances to Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shivate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Prasthane Nirvisesa Sundravani Paschatya Deshatane Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasana Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare. Moving forward with Gajendra Moksha, Gajendra's prayers after his being liberated, or after in his great dire difficulty, then he became liberated. I did a little research between the midday class and this evening's class, and I found out a lot of things. One of the things that I found out was that the place where Gajendra was engaged with this crocodile was, I had a certain assumption, and I found out that my assumption, after substantial research, wasn't correct, or might have been correct, but probably not correct. So where he was, after he had been cursed to become an elephant from a king, was by the Trikuta mountain. And it says in the Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 2, it's by the Milk Ocean. So I assumed the Milk Ocean is the Milk Ocean that we always hear about. But there's no certainty. The Milk Ocean we always hear about is where Mahavishnu, or Garbhodakshaya Vishnu resides. In Svetadvip is a white island in the midst of the Milk Ocean. But there's multiple Milk Oceans. And so I found out that there's no certainty exactly. The end of the research is there are multiple Milk Oceans, and there are multiple Trikutas. Tri means three, and Kuta, peaks, 3 mountain peaks. According to this chapter 2, it was the 3 peaks, one of gold, one of silver, one of iron. And some large number, I don't have some large number of miles tall. Very large number. Too large to be apparently in the earthly realm. Therefore, I had an assumption it's not in the earthly realm. But I don't know. The research that I did was, yes, Trikuta Mountain, yes, Ocean of Milk, but which Ocean of Milk and which Trikuta Mountain? There's multiple Trikutas. There's multiple oceans of milk. It could be on the earthly realm, could be in the celestial realm, and the ocean of milk where Garbhodakshaya Vishnu resides isn't in this realm. It's beyond this realm. So exactly where he was when he encountered the crocodile is not clear. That's a clarification. It's not clear. Second is I was misstating. In the midday class and yesterday's class, I stated that the battle between Gajendra and the crocodile lasted for 100 celestial years. It wasn't 100 celestial years. It was 100 years. 1,000 years. 1,000 years. And which years? Well, it doesn't say which years. Could be earthly years, if that's where Trikuta was, then it would the frame of reference is in the earthly realm or the Bhumandala realm. But it could be in the higher realm. And then it's 1,000 celestial years. It's a detail. It's a long time. Whether it's 1,000 years or 1,000 celestial years, it's a long time. And then another clarification from today, midday. There's more than one reference in Srimad Bhagavatam, and one of the outstanding references about duration of time is Canto 3, Chapter 11. The chapter is titled Calculation of Time by the Atom. Canto 3, you can look it up later if you like. Canto 3, Chapter 11. Calculation of Time by the Atom. So the residential place of Pitriloka is below the earthly realm in the hierarchy or vertical dimension of the universe. Bhumandala is in the middle range. Pitriloka is in the lower range. And Svarga is above, in the vertical depiction of the universe. So in the vertical depiction of the universe, 1 year of our time is 1 day for the demigods. For the demigods, there's day and night, like for us. And their 1 day and 1 night is our 360 days. 1 year for us is 1 day for them. I was saying something different. I was saying, according to Canto 3, Chapter 11, in the realm of the Pitris, the forefathers, 1 night for them is, 1 night for them is the waxing, the waning moon, and 1 day is the waxing moon. So our 1 month is their 1 day. Relative time. It's a detail, but I want to clarify so that at least the recorded information is correct. I'm making some corrections from this. So I'm looking around the room, and many of you have attended some of these classes, and there's a few here that have not attended the earlier classes, so I think some context review is good. The context review goes like this. Canto 8, at the very beginning part of Chapter 1 of Canto 8, there's a question by Maharaj Parikshit, which is answered in the rest of the canto. It's a canto long worth of question one question. You have already described the first of the 14 manus, Swayambhuva Manu. Can you please give some description of the manus that follow the other 13? Because in every day of Brahma, there's 14 manus, and only one has been accounted for. So who are the other 13, please? And that spends a lot of time. It's one day of Brahma, there's 14 manus. So in quick succession, Shukadeva Goswami gives the answer when he gets to the Tamasa Manu number 4 of the 14. That's what the Gajendra Moksha pastime takes place. Lord Hari, a form of Vishnu known by the name Hari, comes and liberates. Then he tells the story of the liberation of Gajendra. The liberation of Gajendra begins with how he became Gajendra. Like actually, how he became Gajendra comes at the end of the whole narration. But so it's not chronological. The narration is not chronological, but he was a Pandya king in the Dravida region, southernmost part of India. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur shares, it's not in the Bhagavatam, but he was in the dynasty of the Pandavas. King Indradyumna. There's different Indradyumnas, but this particular one, in the dynasty or the family tree lineage of the Pandavas. And he was a great Vishnu Bhakta, and he eventually became so absorbed in Vishnu Bhakti that he turned his kingdom over to his son and went to the forest to engage in fixed devotion to Vishnu. And one of the things he was doing in that fixed devotion to Vishnu was he had this mona vrata of worship and not making a sound. And he was absorbed in meditation, kind of in trance. And when he was in trance and meditation, just so happened that in this remote forested region, Agastya Muni with his followers came. And the king, not wearing his crown and his royal attire, but he didn't greet Agastya Muni. Agastya Muni knew he was in meditation, they knew he was in trance, but he was offended. You're not a king, you're not a royal family member, you don't even know how to receive a guest. You become an elephant. So it doesn't say how quickly it happened, but he became an elephant. In his next life, he became an elephant, but he was the king of elephants. And where he was residing, this much is explicitly told in chapter 2 of Canto 3, on Trikuta mountain, in the region of the ocean of milk. Now just another example of ocean of milk, if you're interested. Canto 5, the cosmology section of the Bhagavatam. It describes 7 islands surrounding Mount Meru. And one of those islands, in between the islands, there's an ocean of milk. And one of those oceans of milk, the 4th ocean, is the ocean of milk. An ocean of liquor, ocean of oil, an ocean of this, an ocean of that, an ocean of salt water. So it could be there. There's a Trikuta mountain there at the base of Jambudweep. There's Mount Sumeru at the base of where Mount Sumeru comes and lands in Jambudweep. There's a mountain there named Trikuta. So wherever it was, whatever plane of realm, that's where he went. So he became a king of elephants with friends, other elephants and she elephants. describes the beauty of the place. Very, very, very beautiful description. It sounds heavenly, but it could be the heaven on earth kind of place. And then he became thirsty and wanted to bathe, so he found this lake that was at the base of Trikuta mountain, a lake that was created by Varuna, is described. And he took his bath and then drank some water. And as he was frolicking with the she-elephants, this crocodile chomped on his leg. You're coming into my lake? He was envious. And so the elephant against the crocodile. They had a battle. He tried to shake the crocodile loose. He's a powerful elephant, but he couldn't shake him loose. And the struggle and struggle and struggle and so on. There's a seat over here, over the corner. So 1,000 years, earthly years or celestial years or whatever years, a battle between the two, and he was becoming weaker, and the alligator or crocodile was still strong because he was in his element and so forth. And so this is the background before the prayers begin. He realized, I'm finished. And quite unusual, the commentary says, it's quite unusual, but he remembered everything about his previous life. As a king, a devotee of Vishnu, completely focused and absorbed in meditation on Vishnu. And all of that came back to him, previous life absorption. And naturally, he wanted some relief from the battle because he couldn't do it. So he needed relief, he needed protection. As you all know, there are symptoms or angas or limbs of surrender. One of them is, the Lord is my protector. So he was seeking the first of his prayers, his glorification, you are that Supreme Lord. And he doesn't ask for protection yet, but in the third of his prayers, he's asking for protection. Then again, later he's asking for protection. But the purpose is not just to butter up Lord Vishnu, he's surrendered. I mean, in the end of all of this, he goes back, he attains Sarupya Mukti. He attains a form like the Supreme Lord. His elephant form is discarded. From the elephant form, the soul emerges. The soul takes on a four-armed form like the Lord of Vaikuntha, and a Vaikuntha Vimana descends and takes him to Vaikuntha. So he's not asking, for something. He's not asking for something material. His mood. One can certainly ask for something material, but one can ask for something that's not material. That is, he wants protection. So it's perfectly okay in pure devotion to seek protection, because it's a symptom of surrender, seeking the Lord's protection. That is to say, I don't protect myself. I am relying on the supreme powerful person for my protection. And one doesn't do foolish things. One doesn't walk in the middle of a highway thinking the Lord's going to protect me. No, he won't. But protection is going to be given. When you're doing the Lord's service, protection will be there. I just got a letter before coming here. Someone, something. And they're, not normally a nervous type, but they got a little nervous because something. And without all the details, they're relying upon Krishna to protect them. They're going to go forward with the service that they have accepted. There's some risk involved in the service that they've accepted. Maybe, not even for certain. But Krishna will protect me. This princess is really Special girl. There, she said, for 3 minutes. Okay. So it's a lesson. It's a principle of protection that not just wanting something material, but for the purpose of carrying out one's service. There she is. I go. I think she needs to go somewhere. Okay. There she goes. A really nice example, super nice example, is Prabhupada coming to America. Literally risking his life, being advised against it by parties in India, and he went anyways because he had some service to do. And praying before, during, and after, praying for protection, not just from harm, but that he could accomplish Mission Impossible. That was Mission Impossible. That became possible in his mood of full dependence. Just carry out the service. No, but it's not that we have to take a service that put your life at risk kind of service. Doesn't have to be that, but in Prabhupada's case it was, literally, and in multiple directions. Health being one of them, but not, his age another, and so forth and so on. But service. And one is in mood of service, depending upon the personality of Godhead for his empowerment and protection, and whatever he wants to do with us, he can do with us. So that's the mood of a surrendered devotee, and that's the mood that the king had, and that's the mood that Gajendra had. Certainly the circumstance put him in that space. He didn't have a choice. I mean, he could just face out and die, but he turned it with full dependence. So first verse is glorifying the Supreme Lord. The next two verses are focusing on the function of Vishnu, the Purusha avatar Vishnu, who manifests the cosmic manifestation, the relationship between the source and that which comes from the source, specifically Prakriti, the material creation. That's Vishnu's function. And then the dissolution that we heard about, the dissolution. He withdraws Prakriti and everything is dark. The sun is gone, light is gone, electricity is gone, everything's gone. It's darkness in all directions. The exact same description in Brahma Samhita when Brahma is born. It's darkness in all directions. I mean, there's the effulgent Supreme Lord, but otherwise it's darkness in all directions. Nothing. Now you can be afraid or intimidated or something. So Gajendra is addressing the personality of Godhead in that way. Now, something I wanted to do in the midday session, I'm going to do now. That is, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written very short and simple and nice commentary on those two verses that we discussed. And I'm going to read just very quick, very short. Verses 4 and 5, so 8.3.4. This is Pandu Swami's translation of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's verse and commentary. By his will, by his Maya, this universe enters into him and again appears and again is annihilated as the constant witness of creation and destruction of the universe. He witnesses everything. He is his own cause. May the Lord, who superior to all causes of revelation, protect me. So there's his prayer for protection. And the commentary by Vishwanath, translated by Swami. Since the universe, made of cause and effect, exists without beginning, meaning Prakriti, the cosmic manifestation comes into being at some point in time, but the energy doesn't. The energy is eternal. Manifest or unmanifest, the energy is eternal. And thus, one can say the universe exists without beginning. The Lord is the supreme manifester of the universe. By his will, being created again and again, the universe enters him, and at the beginning of a kalpa means a day of Brahma, sometimes appears at the end of the kalpa, it disappears. With unfailing vision, so he is the witness, Upadrashta. With unfailing vision, he sees the creation and destruction of the universe. He is his own cause, Atmamula. This means he is self-revealing or independent. He is superior to all those things which reveal. He's the reveal of things that reveal. He's the cause of all causes. Shruti says, this is reference from Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. So we were saying today and yesterday, what's in these verses is found in multiple places. It's being expressed as Gajendra expresses, or as Indradumna, because there's another place of these prayers are called Indradumna Stuti. But it's Gajendra's prayers. Same. But his prayers is from scripture. Here's the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad reference. It doesn't give a translation. Shruti says, Chakshu Uta Shrotacha Shrotram. He is the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear. He's the basis and foundation of all things. So there, and over here is the ear. And he's the ear of the ear. The prototype, you could say. That which causes ears. He's the ear of the ear. The eye of the eye. The basis and foundation of everything. Text number 5. This is to prepare us for text number 6. Translation. When in time all causes and effects and all devatas were destroyed, so everything is withdrawn, there was deep darkness, difficult to penetrate. The Lord alone remained above this darkness. He's light. Now where he is, there's no darkness. But where the creation was, it's darkness. And his commentary, very short. This verse explains that the Lord exists at all times. The Lord remains beyond the influence of darkness produced during the time of destruction of the universe. Shruti says, this is Svetashvatara Upanishad, Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parasat. The Lord shines like the sun beyond the darkness. So we heard Prabhupada's report midday. This is just review. You can see Prabhupada is following closely. His language is different, but the points that he makes are following the points of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. When Prabhupada, it's by becoming familiar with the Bhagavatam, it becomes evident by knowing a little bit what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written and reading Prabhupada's purports. He relied heavily upon his purports. He had his own realization. It wasn't just cut and paste and write something. It was realized knowledge because of his bhakti. But even those that have realized knowledge because of bhakti, they're hearing from realized souls. They don't stop doing that when you get realization. That the other commentator that Prabhupada liked very much and relied upon very much was the original commentator the not disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu commentator, or the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sridhar Swami, that his commentary is sometimes very short and sometimes very elaborate. Some classes, Srila Prabhupada would simply, half of the class was just reading the Sanskrit of Sridhar Swami's commentary on sections of the Bhagavatam. And then he'd explain it, with English translations and take phrases. And so he liked. And he had his own explanation, not just academic, but realization of these commentaries, and then of course the verse. And that's how we get much of what we have in Bhaktivedanta purports, through disciplic succession and through predecessor acharyas. Neither the demigods and sages nor the unintelligent can understand the features of the Lord, his svarup, his form, nor can they express in words his actual position. May that personality of Godhead give me protection. It's quite personal, it's not impersonal. Apparently, Jiva Goswami is commenting on this verse and this whole section because he doesn't name the Lord Vishnu once. It may refer to, some persons say, maybe glorifying the impersonal, the featureless absolute truth, Nirvisheshvad doctrine. And here's Srila Prabhupada's purport. A similar understanding was expressed by Kunti Devi. If there's somebody who I was going to ask this as a question, if anybody will come back to it, if the question is going to be, is there some part of Kunti's prayers that you can think of where she's saying what's being said here? Here's what's being said here, the next sentence. The Supreme Lord exists everywhere within and without. He even exists within the heart. Then several references. Sarvasya Chaha Vriddhi Sannivishto, Bhagavad Gita. Ishvara Sarvabhutana Videshir Junatishtati, Bhagavad Gita. Thus, it is indicated that one can find the Supreme Lord within one's heart. There are many, many yogis trying to find him. Then another reference from the Bhagavatam. Dhyana Vastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha. Prabhupada refers to this hundreds of times as a definition of yoga, as where one is searching for Hari within. And being able, one's mind to focus on Hari. Dhyana Vastita Tat Gatena Manasa Pashyanti, seeing with spiritual vision the Lord in the heart. Yam Yoginaha, that's by definition of yoga. Nevertheless, even great yogis, demigods, saints, and sages have been unable to understand the bodily features of that great artist, nor could they understand the meaning of his movements. So his activities, his form, his actual position remains unknown. What then can be said of ordinary speculators like the so-called philosophers of this material world? For them, he is impossible to understand. Therefore, we must accept the statements given by the Supreme when he kindly incarnates to instruct us, Bhagavad Gita. We must simply accept the words of, now here we go, Lord Ramachandra. We discussed this. It's not what we're used to hearing. Not what I'm used to hearing. Prabhupada is you're replacing Krishna's name with Lord Ramachandra's name. Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and follow in their footsteps. We discussed this. Then it may be possible for us to know the purpose of their incarnations. Then he quotes a verse from Bhagavad Gita 4:9. Let's say the verse together. Janma karma vidyam evam yoga vidatvata evam punarjanma if by the Lord's grace one can understand him, one will immediately be delivered, even within his material body. Like this, go back to Godhead, doesn't mean change your dress. It means consciousness, even within the same body at your same location. Back to Godhead. The material body will no longer have any function, and whatever activities take place with the body will be activities of Krishna consciousness. In this way, when they give up his body and return back home, back to Godhead, Godhead, give up your body doesn't mean death. It means the material body is no longer a material body. and your place of residence is no longer a material place of residence. And matter becomes completely spiritualized, but by change of consciousness, by this one thing of understanding the personality of Godhead, which they're going backwards. Who can't understand him? The materialists can't understand him. And the demigods can't understand him. The sages can't understand him. They're searching for him. He's present everywhere. They're searching to find him, but they can't find him. Yoga means to find him. That the phrase. One more time. Dhyana, dhyana, meditation. Dhyana, avastita, situated in meditation. Tadgatena, towards that which is the goal. Tad, the absolute truth. He, as a pronoun. Tad, he, that meditation upon the absolute truth within. Manasa, mind absorbed in that proper way. Pashyanti yam yoginaha. That's just the definition of what yoga is. Meditation, the process of searching for the supreme within. That's what yoga is. That's some of the things that people think what yoga is, but that's what yoga is. And things that lead to that, that's also yoga. But you need to know where it leads to, not just do your asanas. Anyway. So let's go back to the scene. The scene is, there's the king of elephants, and he's in his life is about to expire, and he knows it. And he has one recourse, his place of shelter, and he's seeking for protection. And he knows that the Supreme has that power to protect him. So he's appealing, not just help, but it's glorification. And in that sense of glorification, if I can be helped, you're the one that can help me. There's no one else that can help me. So please give me that protection. He doesn't say you have to kill the guy, but give me your protection, whatever that means, whatever you feel is appropriate and suitable for the circumstance. And so Lord Hari, Lord Vishnu, hears and he descends at the end of his prayers and then smiles. Does the deed, he chops the crocodile and liberates the crocodile from the crocodile body. A little summary, and then I'm going to end and see if there's discussion. We sometimes find ourselves in difficulty more often than we would like. We find ourselves in one or another combination. And sometimes the difficulty persists. Sometimes it subsides, and sometimes it gets more intense. And depending upon our Vishnu Bhakti or Krishna Bhakti, we're going to remember Krishna or not. We remember Krishna more or not. So it's a lesson from the whole Gajendra Moksha Lila. The Lord is hearing. He's fully conscious of our difficulty. He is sanctioning our difficulty. But the difficulty isn't necessarily a difficulty for punishment. Why is God doing this? Why is he something? Why is this difficulty coming to me? What did I do? I'm a good person. So, etc. Or embrace, another option is to embrace the difficulty, knowing its purification. There's a celebrated verse, many of you know the verse, from Canto 10, Chapter 14, text number 8, Tatedu Kampam Susami Shimano. Celebrated verse. If you're in distress, or you know someone that's going through a period of distress, refer to that verse. 10:14:8. And the verse in essence says, when passing through some difficulty, this is Lord Brahma praying to Krishna after he offended Krishna, he knows he's going to get spanked. He's going to get a reaction. He's not appealing to Krishna, please give me a lighter sentence. Please let me off the hook. He's saying, please, whatever you wish to do, whatever you feel is appropriate, to teach me a lesson so I don't do this kind of foolishness again, I accept it. So he's appealing, his appeal, Brahma's appeal to Krishna was to please acknowledge that what I did, the stealing of the calves and cowherd boys and the whole thing, wasn't out of malice, it was out of foolishness. And I did something foolish, so I'm going to get some reaction for my foolish choice and foolish behavior, and I accept it. But let my mind not budge an inch from your lotus feet. Knowing that by that shelter in your lotus feet, I'm protected. Even when hardship comes, I'm protected. Not protected from the hardship because it's going to come. Whatever you wish to do with me. And as a consequence of my offense. I mean, it was pretty big. He interrupted Krishna's pastimes, Brahma. He stole the calves and cowherd boys. He stole the calves and cowherd boys, Krishna's eternal associates. It turns out, the detail, he didn't. What he stole was Maya manifestations of the calves and cowherd boys. That's a detail. But that's what he thought he did. Krishna's eternal associates, he kidnapped them. Not just one, but a whole bunch of them. He put them in a cave. He put them to sleep, he thought. Because he has some power, some Maya power. He put them to sleep. And then the essence of the whole thing was he was contesting Krishna's power against his power directly, purposely, like what's Krishna going to do? You know, in baseball language, you're out. 3 strikes, you're out. So I'm going to get a reaction. And I accept the reaction. So when misfortune comes to us, accept it. You may do something or not do something, but the misfortune, you accept there's a misfortune coming because of something back there. And in Brahma's case, he knew what that something was. In our case, we may not know what that something is. That's okay. So there's something back there. And residual spinning of the blades of the fan may still keep moving even after the switch is off. So I'm going to get some continuing reaction at least for some period of time for purification purposes. That's Krishna's plan, his intention, and I accept. But one thing, my mind will not budge an inch from her lotus feet. That's a nice lesson. And this is what Gajendra is doing. Brahma's saying it in his own way. Gajendra is doing it in his own way. He's seeking, because in Gajendra's case, he didn't make an offense to Lord Vishnu. And for that matter, he didn't make an offense to Agastya as the king in Dudumna. Because he was engaged in exclusive meditation upon the personality of Godhead Vishnu with a vow of silence. He was completely absorbed in trance. And Agastya flipped out. So Agastya's one that gets spanked, in this case, not King Dudumna. He didn't do anything wrong. He's not suffering a wrong. He goes first, and he accepted the curse. He became an ogre. But his consciousness didn't change, especially in that situation of great danger. And the Lord gave us protection. He's asking for protection, but the Lord is prepared to give us protection, in part because of the unalloyed devotion. He's not asking in a selfish way. He's asking in a service-minded way, devotional service-minded way. That's nice. One last thing. I mentioned this earlier today. Now I'm mentioning it again. There are many, many, many prayers in the Bhagavatam, like so many. It's fantastic prayers. But this is a unique set of prayers. It's an animal offering prayers. We don't get that too much in the Bhagavatam. Think about it. There's some wonderful prayers, very elevated devotees offering prayers. This is an element. Circumstantially, he's in that body. He's offering prayers. It doesn't say that he offered them in his mind. But what language, what's elephant language, I don't know. But it's offering prayers. Vishnu hears. Okay, so let's see if there's some discussion with those points of clarification at the beginning. Yes. Right here in the front. There we go. You're on.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Exactly my couple of essences. Regarding Brahmaji's Leela, where he stole all the friends of Krishna, I see that he's done it on purpose, but then at the same time, the gopis also had a wish that Krishna would be. They were wishing that they could have a son as Krishna.
Yes.
So even though it was an offense, but then that actually fulfilled the Brajavaji's wish of having a son like Krishna, and even all the cows wishing that they had.
Yes,
So,
I understand your question.
so how is that considered as offense? I guess I don't.
Two things. And you all understand your question? Fantastic. You're familiar with the story, that's why you understand the question. It was, in one sense, it was not an offense because it was inspired by Krishna. Krishna's in the heart of Brahma. But the offense was placing his power against Krishna's power and challenging Krishna's power. There was a purpose in the Leela. The purpose was fulfilled. Krishna's purpose was fulfilled with the Leela. But there was an offense. And at the other end, you know what happens at the other end of the prayers. At the other end of the prayers, Brahma doesn't want to go back to Brahmaloka and resume the post. He wants to stay in Vrindavan and be with the Vrindavasis. So it's a plan so that Brahma's heart becomes purified, free from pride, and elevated to Brajabhakti. It's a Leela. So now your question, I remember your question. Where's the offense? Because there are other parts to all of this, like the ladies and the cows wanting Krishna as their son and Krishna as their calf. So Krishna's fulfilling their desire. And he does, very, very, very conveniently, for a whole year. So it's a Leela. And so in one sense, you could say, it seems like you're saying, because it was a Leela, there was no offense. He's just doing what Krishna wanted to do, and he played his part, Krishna played his part, the Leela's performed, and the ladies and the cows got satisfied. So, no offense. That's your point. But there's pride. And with that pride, he did stuff that was indicative of his pride. And he had to face the consequence for that. The consequence, Krishna didn't beat him up or kill him, you know. He blew his mind. He showed him what Brahma wanted. Brahma is a Vishnu Bhakta. So Krishna showed him all these Vishnu forms. And etc., 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 etc. It was a kindness. So back to the question, where's the offense? His pride. And his behavior was offensive. Okay, it was done because Krishna inspired. Why did Krishna inspire? Because there's pride in Brahma's heart. Let's say it the other way. If Brahma was a pure devotee, he wouldn't be Brahma. He'd be in Vaikuntha or Goloka. But yet there's some desire, he's got that post to build the universe. There's not pure devotion in his heart. Krishna helped him become free from, because somebody who's very elevated, whose heart's not pure, what happens? Here's a math. My dear boys, are you good at math? Are you good at math? Yeah? Okay. Here's a math equation. Fruits of piety plus a heart that's impure equals, what's the math? I'll do it again. Fruits of piety plus a heart that's impure equals pride. You understand? You understand? So you understand? He's superlatively pious, but not a pure devotee. Pride. And Krishna doesn't like. So Krishna helped him become free from pride. And he became free from pride. He knew and proved Lord Brahma.
So, for us, like you're saying, whatever actions that we do, if it's, how would we know if it's inspired by Krishna or if it's like our own, or doing things using our traditions?
I don't get your question. Say it again.
So when,
In our case, we do stuff that's less than perfect, right?
yes,
So,
so if in Brahmaji's case, it was a lila. Krishna inspired him to.
but Krishna is not inspiring you to do nonsense.
Okay.
He's an elevated person, and you have to some degree are elevated, but less elevated than Brahma. But he's not a pure devotee, and you're not a pure devotee. You're devotees in different degrees. And Krishna may put you through some ordeal. Krishna puts all of us. Bhakti Siddhanta calls it fire of ordeal. It's in Sri Brahma Samhita. It's right from one of the verses of the Govinda prayers. Fire of ordeal. Because it's to make us heart pure. So we can complain, why me, and so forth and so on. It's purification. It's kindness.
Thank you.
Okay? And it's not because Krishna is inspiring us to do nonsense so that he can purify us further. He's going to purify us anyways because we're devotees. He doesn't have to inspire us to do nonsense. We're self-motivated nonsense department.
Keep that in mind.
Okay.
Thank you.
How can I maintain balance?
How to? Okay.
How to maintain balance? By accepting responsibilities for the actions of my own karma. at the same time, depending on Krishna's mercy.
Well, it's not a balance. You do both. So where do you start? Should you start with accepting responsibility for your choices? That's a given. It's a law of nature. In spiritual or material, it's a law. So, abide by the law or don't abide by the law. It's the law. And you're obliged to be responsible for your choices. Now, depending on Krishna to make the right choices and take responsibility for the choices that are not in alignment with Krishna's desire for us, the pure devotion desire, and take responsibility for that. And not whine and complain when some reaction comes, some culpability for their not making the right choices. So it's not balance, it's responsible life in your relationship with the Supreme. So in your relationship with others also, I take responsibility. I'm going to share something with you, which we share with all of you. In the last 24 hours, I heard a very nice class given by a certain devotee. And I wanted to, because of the relationship with the person, I wanted to express, could you explain why on the one hand this, the other hand that, and how do you, but I didn't, I hit the send button before I was ready to hit the send button. So it came across as a confrontational type of question, which wasn't my intention. And immediately quickly responded, saying this and this and this. So I apologized and rephrased the question. What I intend, I learned a lesson. I don't hit that reset, don't hit the send button. In relationships with people, we're responsible for how we speak and how we act. So I requested forgiveness, explained the circumstance, and rephrased the question the way that it could have, should have been phrased. And then, Krishna helped me learn the lesson to not hit the send button, unless it's carefully considered before I hit the send button. And sometimes, anyway, so I'm responsible for my actions, my choices. And hopefully knowing the other devotee, he'll say, oh, there was no offense, I didn't take it that way, something. But we're responsible. To be responsible, that's all. It's not balance, it's just being responsible. Behind you. No, over this way.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I have a few clarification questions, and because we're Vaishnavas, I feel like this is really important for me to understand. You mentioned that the Purusha avatars are not in the spiritual world this morning.
Yes, that's correct.
So are they not eternal, Guru Maharaj?
Of course they're eternal.
Virat Rupa, because the Virat Rupa is also not in the spiritual world, the material kind of.
So, let me ask you, is Krishna eternal? Does Krishna appear in this world? Ramachandra, is he eternal?
Yeah, but Guru Maharaj, the way I understood is that Ramachandra has
In the world.
yes,
Ayodhya, in the spiritual world.
so we don't hear of any abodes of the Vishnu avatars. That's why I'm a little bit confused about the eternality.
Their service is in relation to the creation. And thus, their abode is eternal, but it's not in the Vaikuntha realm. Their abode is an eternal abode in this realm. just like there's Ayodhya in the Haridham, in the Vaikuntha realm, and there's the Ayodhya in the mature realm. And they're both fully spiritual. So that abode of Vishnu, the three Vishnus, their abode is in the material realm, and their service is in relation to creation, which is material service, or in relation to the material energy. But their abode is eternal. But it's not considered part of the Haridam. You know the verse? Golo kadamni nijadamni kalejatasya devi maheshu haridam suteshu. So their abode is not in Haridam or Golokadam. Their abode is in Devidam. But their abode in Devidam is an eternal abode in Devidam. It's not in Vaikuntha.
Maharaj, my next question is, when we, in the Bhagavatam and other places, when we hear devotees' prayers, even though they are referring to different incarnations of the Lord,
Yeah.
Perhaps there are nuances in the prayers that I don't yet understand, but it seems like the realization in all of the prayers, regardless of the form of the Lord, is consistent.
Is consistent, yeah.
Consistent. So I was just wondering, for example, Brahma, in the third canto, when Brahma is seeing the Lord, Prabhupada mentions in one of the purport that he saw Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And when he offers prayers there versus when he's offering prayers to Krishna after the Brahma V1 Leela,
Yes.
they're both consistent. So are there different
Yes.
levels of realization?
Yes, because after he sees what he saw during the Brahma Vimohan Leela, he understood very clearly that Vishnu, who is his father, is Krishna. If you send me a little text message as a reminder, I'll send you a very elaborate description of this particular point that you're asking, that's elaborated upon in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where in the elaborate text, Krishnadas Kaviraj explains how Brahma is arguing, you are my father. And now we give you the reasons why I say you are my father. This because he's the father of his father. He's the source of his father. And therefore he's his father. You say grandfather, but he's his father. He's the source of his father. The one from whom he's born is his father. It's very clear. So your question was, is there a difference of realization? The answer is yes. When the creation is performed in the third canto verses, he doesn't have the same realization as he has later. And during Brahma Mohan Leela.
My last question, Guru Maharaj, is are there different forms? I'm not sure what Hari refers to. Hari.
One who takes
Hari.
away and one who gives.
I have heard instances where Hari is being referred to as Paramatma and other instances as well.
The nomenclature, one name can mean many things. You know Sanskrit well enough. One name can have multiple implications and meanings. And it's perfectly okay. And know what lens you look at that word through, the lens that you look at that word through, you can emphasize this, or you can emphasize that, or emphasize the other. The common etymological meaning of Hari is one who takes away. He takes away impurity, and he gives purity, or awakens purity. That's what Hari does. That's a direct meaning, and then there's secondary, tertiary, and other meanings that are also valid meanings. But the primary meaning is that one. Does that help you?
Yes, Maharaj.
Except,
No, I had a follow-up question based on what you said.
okay,
So you mentioned that the Purusha avatars they have an eternal abode, but it's in Devi Dham, in the material world.
yes,
So the yogis that meditate on the Paramatma feature, the Shiva-Dakshaya Vishnu feature, is that why they're not able to like go to the spiritual world, Maharaj? Because I'm just maybe I'm
they're connecting with Shiradakshay Vishnu. But that's partial. It's not complete. How does it become complete? Recognize the relationship between that object of their meditation and the source of their object of meditation. And that, in other words, it brings one into not just meditation, but to bhakti. Through the medium of bhakti, one can regain their position in the spiritual world. But when bhakti is not substantial or not significant or not developed, it's not, you don't have the ticket. You don't have the adhikar to enter the spiritual realm. There's many details and details to describe. If you want details, Paramatma Sandarbha. But it's partial. It's short. It's partial. And bhakti makes it more than partial. Potentially. Up to priti, up to pure love. And then that same yogi that's meditating on Paramatma can go to the spiritual world. That's essentially what happened to Indradumna. He went to the spiritual world. He went to Vaikuntha in the four-arm form. So Sarupya Mukti, four-arm form. Okay?
Thank you.
Bhakti elevates one's understanding, potentially elevates one's understanding, and then destination according to one's understanding or one's shelter. Okay. Someone else? You got a question? No. He has a question.
What is the protection that the Supreme Lord offers for us?
Protection from ourselves. Protection from desire that's apart from the Supreme. And he preserves as well as protects. He preserves that which is in relation to the Supreme, and he protects us from that which is apart from the Supreme. No, he's not twisting our arm. He does corresponding to our request or exercise of free will, are seeking his protection. Yeah. You have something more? Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. So, sometimes practicing devotees like me ask for protection in terms of material level protection that may be not favorable towards Krishna also, because I don't know what is really not favorable. For example, health wise or something like that.
What's the example?
Example is
What's the example?
like my job should go on well, or health should be better, material things, for example.
Krishna, you can do with me what you like. You can make me a success or failure as you like. Now that's surrender. And supposing one's not fully surrendered, then you get other things in your wish list and submit your wish list to the order supplier. Om Jai Jagadish Hare. It makes. I like the way Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj says. He has three things. It's, a house by the sea, a color TV, Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Okay. Mahamantra, that's it. You got a last question.
Krishna Maharaj. The protection Gajendra was mentioning here in the previous verse
Yes.
is like, I mean, we are
It's
clear.
his body. It's his body. It's his life. It's the external covering of the soul. Protection.
That's what he's asking. There.
Yes.
Oh.
That's at risk. And the Lord gives that to him. He gives him more than that. That's Hari.
Yeah.
He takes away and he gives. That's Prabhupada's expression. He has thousands of hands and you're holding on to something that's unwholesome. He'll take it from you. But with the same thousand hands, he'll give you more than you can handle. That's how he takes away and he gives. He gives himself. Hari. Principal meaning. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Romapada Maharaj ki jai.